Evening, folks. So we're live from Home Park. We're hoping to get this manager announcement tonight. So I'm back up here on my own. We've got the guys in with us tonight. Yes. Evening, everybody. No, of course I'm not at Home Park. God, I'm not going to do that again. And no, there'll be no Black Range Rovers coming round tonight. Anyway, evening, everyone. Tonight we have on the Block 9 podcast Gavin, who joins us for the first time. I have mentioned Gavin a few times. We've gone to a couple of away games recently, and the poor sod has had to pit up with me in the car for hours. Evening, Gavin. How are we doing?
Guys, yeah, all well, good. Thank you. Bit of a whirlwind day, trying to...
Yeah, absolutely. And Andy, as always. Evening, Andy. How are we doing?
Evening, mate. Lovely boy. It's all good, lovely boy.
And Marcus, of course. How you doing, Marcus?
Evening, how's it going?
Yeah,
good. Tonight?
Well, we'll find out. I'm going to need everybody to be closely keeping their eyes on the channels out there. And Kyle, of course. How are we doing, Kyle?
Evening, not too bad, mate.
Yeah, I've got Sophie with me as well in the background who will be giving her viewpoint, I'm sure, throughout the live. So, yeah, let me get this jacket off because that is a bit too warm. So, no, Sophie saying she's not going to do anything tonight. Fair enough. So, yeah, look, we're here. We're 7:30. There's still no manager announcement. It's gone from swinging back to Schumacher throughout the day to now going potentially, as the official Romano account has tweeted out, to Miron Muslic. Have I pronounced that right, guys?
Yeah, seems bang on. Seems bang on, yeah.
Usually.
Spot on.
Good. For breakfast, it's usually muesli. So, yeah, look, guys, we're just going to give some viewpoints. We've got some stuff on, obviously, on Miron to look at, and also, the new defender. Carl, can you please tell me how you pronounce that new left back's name?
Timoteusz.
So I wasn't far.
You weren't far off. No, you weren't.
Like a good shampoo.
Like a good shampoo. Yeah.
Timotei, yes. So,
but just call him Tomek, or that'll be the easiest way to
Tomek.
do it.
Fair enough. So yeah, so look, we could still hear something tonight. We don't know. I know the club were trying to get a signing done for before the Brentford game, and obviously that's not panned out so far. I think Nance, Carl, Andy, gents. I know a lot of you have the Argyle TV. Did Nance? What was the sort of giveaway Nance sort of suggested that it would happen today? Carl, what did you hear on that?
He plays it pretty coy, doesn't he, Nance, in press conferences? So he didn't really give a lot away, but he didn't really say that they would be in charge either. So,
fair enough.
Let's see what happens this evening if there's an announcement. But I don't think he'll be in the dugout anyway tomorrow, regardless. I still think it'll be Nance and Joe for tomorrow. Yeah,
no, and that's always going to be typical, isn't it? When you come to an appointment so late in the day. I mean, the rumours. I mean, I've had a very hectic week at work because we're now going into these home-based stores. For those that don't know, I work at the Range head office, and I'm project.
You've never mentioned that, Mike. You've never mentioned that.
Well, I've got to get a plug in, and I'm coordinating these transitions to these home-based stores, and so I've been luckily very occupied for most of the week, but the rumours going around out there is crazy. And Andy, I think you've been trying to sort of chirp in on some of those as well, haven't you?
Well, I didn't really try to imply. I posted, if you notice, I posted something about 5 o'clock or 5 hours ago, right, saying that the man was going to be oh wow, I like it. I want one. Where's mine? I want one. Saying that this.
Yeah, where's ours?
We'll come back to that. Go on, Andy.
Favoritism, isn't it? Obviously. I posted about 5 hours ago that it was going to be Muslic that's going to be announced, and there I am.
Yeah. Well, you also said to all of us, causing a bit of a stir, about 4:30, that Shuey was going to get announced at 5 o'clock. So
got to keep the interest in. They're going to keep Marcus on his toes, you see.
Well, more of a meltdown, wasn't it?
Well, I tell you what we'll do to start with, because let's just deal in facts. And the facts at the moment, when I can get my mouse to come back on my screen, is that we do have that new signing, Tomek or whatever we said there. And I think, Gavin, I'll come to you now. He looks like an exciting signing. Obviously, he's one of those where you think, let me just get rid of us on the bottom there. I can tell the club deserves to be higher, he said. I'm looking forward to helping the club to get into a better position. Well, he's got a lot of work to do to get us out of this situation, hasn't he, Gav?
Yeah, look, he's a grafter. He clearly likes to tackle. The photo I shared with you, it's him just in a pair of shorts. There isn't much skin left from those tattoos. And I want one in a very dark alley, let me put it that way. And I think something that we've been missing for a long time is be able to take it to teams. We were bullied far too many times last year, in my opinion. So I with the ball, he wins a lot of duels. He's fast, he's aggressive. I think he's everything Bally up then to play elsewhere, which I think is also another really strong sort of plus to the signing.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring up my screen share if I can get it on the right piece there. So let's stick us over to the right again. For those that can see off the FOTMob sort of stats, I like this 99% chances noted on the right-hand side there. It was 71% shot attempts. So the guy clearly can make a pass, which is going to be very welcome. There's some basic stats from this season, but not too much to go by. I mean, Marcus, what's your initial thoughts on the new signing?
He's very good. He gives a good cross. He likes to cross. He likes to shoot from distance. Some like what Gav says. We've lacked power in the defence. He adds that. So all in all, you got a Polish international. You can't go far wrong.
Yeah,
no,
I think he's exciting. Considering the situation that we've got, where we're looking for players back there as well. Ideally a centre back at some point, but I think this is a good signing, Andy, isn't it? So one looking forward to. I wonder if he'll get in the squad tomorrow. Who knows? It's a chance to give some players like him and Bader a bit of a run out, really, before we get to the league fixture.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, it's everyone's going to say it's a free hit tomorrow, isn't it? I mean, Brentford are pretty good at home. We're not too good away from home. You might have known that, but who's to say that this new manager might not get us going away from home as well? But I think tomorrow it'll just be too soon. And in the words of Marcus, but regardless of sort of Pukash, he's going to fire bare his shoulders, lovely boy. He's a big lad. He's a big unit, and he's going to cause a few problems, isn't he?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's the fact that we're also still, Carl, signing players. Obviously Bader, as we've talked about on this show recently, was sort of almost done, signed and sealed. After the summer window closed. So no surprise that firmed up and went through. But yeah, to get another signing before a manager joins is not the usual practice you do. But I think in fairness to Argyle, as I just remove this image off my face, in fairness to Argyle, you've got to do something, haven't you? Because you don't know what's going to happen from the manager point of view.
I mean, the football club still has to run. It still has to do its due diligence on players. We still have to go out into the market and get players, regardless if there's a manager here. So we still would have had a list, obviously data driven, I expect, as usual, to get players in. So yeah, I like what I've seen from him. I know YouTube clips on everything. We've seen so many good ones in the past, and players have been poor once they joined us. But he looks strong. He looks strong in a tackle. He looks like he can put a decent ball into the box. He's got a few assists this season. Got an eye for goal as well. And he's kind of that, I don't want to swear, but he's that nasty, that we've been missing this season. And if he can shore us up,
what are you looking for?
Yeah. And he's obviously got quite a few appearances for Poland. So I have obviously heard of him through the national team, but I've not actually physically seen him play. So, but I'm looking forward to watching him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to adjust the screens there as I get used to all the multiple things going on. So do we hear anything in terms of fees, anyone?
No, just loan to buy, isn't it? Like TJ.
Oh, of course, yeah. So it'll be interesting. Which again is still not a bad thing. If the whoever this manager is that comes in, at the end of the day, if things don't pan out the situation might change anyway for the player. So
it's a good option to have loan to buys, because we can look at each other, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we can send them back. So same like Gray on the short term contract. I don't think that was going to really work long term, was it? So
No, absolutely. And speaking of loans, obviously, Gavin, you reminded me in the car when we were coming back from Stoke that JB's loan recall date was the 7th. Obviously, that's passed. So I believe then that automatically triggers that he will stay on then, as they haven't taken it up until the end of the season. Would that be right, Gavin?
So I think we got caught with our pants down last year, didn't we? 2 or 3 times, Cundall, KKH, where we just said, take them back on the 31st if you like. I can leave us high and dry. Self-learned, isn't it? And this year it was you got 7 days. If you want to take them back, you got to the 7th. If you don't, that's gone past. And JB's with us, which I think he's growing every game. Is it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about him a lot. I think, in our last pod, we discussed about the fact that him and Randall have, played a lot of minutes, and you could tell both of them were sort of feeling that, I think, and, physically and mentally with everything that's gone on. So, hopefully they've had a bit more of a rest, and able to recuperate, and because I think JB, is a great player and is a good asset to have in the squad. Andy, I think all of us on here can sort of agree with that. But yeah, your views on JB?
Yeah, he's improved since last season. When we had him last season with us, he's very much improved as a player. He's a lot more forward thinking. I think he's played a part with England under 21s and doing really well. Yeah, it's all good. It's all positive for the lad, isn't it? And he seems to give us that sort of bit more bite in the midfield than say Houghton. And I'm not going to have a go at Houghton tonight because, I'm going to go at Houghton. He just brings more, doesn't he? JB.
Yeah, he's one that we said, could he go in January? I mean, obviously, just speaking of transfers in general, nothing more has come out on Hardy and those rumours there. So that's gone quiet. Which on one hand is a good thing. To reiterate, Hardy, although he hasn't had the sort of finishing prowess that he's used to, and all the changes, he's no doubt still an absolutely brilliant striker for the club. Go on, Marcus.
Hardy out for another 3 weeks, so that might affect it.
Oh, wow. Okay, right.
That's what they said, 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, this is me still being buried in work all week. So is that what it is now, is it?
With regard to Harvey, we've got a player in there now, Pukash, who's a forward player. And you've said in your sort of stats just now that he can find a pass and pick a pass. He's a good player. He's got good feet, this guy. I saw his reel, and he's amazing. So, and with Bader in there as well, it's just like, wow. And then Sissoko coming back. He's going to get the service.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, sort of, I see that I've been linked to Blackburn Rovers. So today, I said to you boys, I've still got it. Yes, of course, I'm referring to Adam Forshaw as Kevin, Evening Kevin, has put out there. Has that deal got any legs? I don't know. But, at the end of the day, I know there's not many fans of Forshaw, Carl, at the moment, is there? And sort of, I have my views on him, which I've given over a few times beside, sort of looking like him. I wish I was as fit. Go on, Carl. What do you think on this one?
I think his agent, he must be the best in the business. To get a move to Blackburn at this stage of his career on the season he's had is remarkable. So top work to his agent. But yeah, if it gets him off our books and we can sign a decent replacement, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Marcus, you wouldn't be sad to see him go either, I suppose.
No, good riddance, in my opinion. He's useless.
Don't hold back, Marcus. Don't hold back, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'll tell you one thing. Most people who's working would love that agent to get them extra pay. I'll tell you that, because he's a genius. Because but what I'm looking at, it looks like we've got this policy of get one in, one out. So obviously they're getting rid of players to bring somebody else in.
Yeah, which look, I think we will pick up on the chairman's statement a little bit later. Sort of better late than never in one sense with that. But the one thing that you can't sort of forgo is that he's accepting that they himself and other owners of the with shares have got to put their hands in their pockets, and obviously, of course, he will be digging the deepest. So but this is the situation we're facing. He touches upon it in his statement. With the fact that, you could easily just spend and spend and spend and then spiral your way out of control and it could backfire. So, and we know we do need to offload some players where we can. So for sure, if that is true, then you got to say that'll be another great bit of business done by the club. So yeah, any other thoughts on the transfer market? Has anybody seen a sniff of anything else going on out there?
It's a Peterborough centre midfielder. It's gone all quiet on the Wickham centre back as well, hasn't it? I think we're still in the market for another centre back. So.
The centre back's not starting tonight for Wickham, which is interesting.
Low,
not.
No, Lowe's not starting tonight.
Joe Low, isn't it?
Yeah.
Low, yeah, something low, isn't it?
6'6", I think. Was 6'5".
6 foot. I saw someone 6'8".
No, I think that's the midfielder, isn't it? Or what?
Yeah,
they're both tall anyway. They're both basketball players. So set piece work. You never know.
Yeah, no, it's well, look, it's going to get more frantic, and look, I can't promise that we won't do. When I say we, and I did drag Carl, I can't say that we won't do a deadline transfer day at Home Park. Although the weather compared to the summer is definitely not more favourable.
It was a good laugh at the end of the day. The kids had a good time kicking the ball about up there and doing the lights on TikTok and that.
I'll brave it, Mike. I'll brave it. I'll come up there.
Yeah, well, hey, anybody's welcome. And yes, that is where the Land Rover rumour came from, which was the joke at the start. Before we carry on, I just want to say welcome everybody that's joined us tonight. Look, we thought we would do a little bit of a news update tonight, before the Brentford game tomorrow. And of course, were we hoping that we were going to know the manager by now? Of course we were. And it might still happen. Who knows? But yes, appreciate you coming and joining us as a Block 9 podcast. If it's your first time with us tonight, we started this off originally, just a bit of background as a HP source for those that can remember that and the famous incident. And then we took it offline and went on to TikTok as the Block 9 podcast, where we did nearly 20, I think, sessions on there. And then decided to bring it across. TikTok's an interesting one, changed a few things as these platforms do. So we decided to come on to a streaming platform where we can beam this to Facebook, currently on my X and YouTube. So look, and bring you, we just want to bring our own little style to it. There's nothing serious about what we do. We like to have a bit of a laugh and a joke as well, clearly based on the start to this show. And the last one, if you joined us for the Stoke post-match analysis. So yeah, look, give us all a like and a follow. You got the Block 9 at YouTube, the Block 9 podcast, the same with X. We're on Blue Sky and all that new app and jazz. And actually, Carl, can you just retweet the fact that we're live on Blue Sky on here, please?
I can do that right this second.
I just realised I forgot to do that. So yeah, and give us retweet and get this out there. We know, as I always say, there's a couple of shows that you come on to, and I know the other boys are on tonight as well. So look, if you stick with us, we appreciate that. It's just we're just going to talk Argyle. We all love talking Argyle. So yeah, sort of coming on. I think let's pick up towards the Brentford game. So because we'll do the manager bit and the chairman's statement afterwards. So the important one. Well, is it important? The FA Cup is always an interesting one, isn't it? And I think sort of Marcus, I'll come to you. Anything can happen. But one thing we did know last season is it really. Where's he gone? He's disappeared. So Andy,
come to me instead if you want. I'm here.
Decided to jump out, but it certainly caused us an issue, really, didn't it, with the Leeds game and the replay, and the extra time, and probably didn't help foster all the situation. We still played up, obviously, of course, but that's the downside to this with the FA Cup these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's we'll always say that it's one of those free hits, isn't it? Brentford, as I said earlier on, they're a good side, doing quite well in the Premiership. Haven't lost too many at home. We haven't won too many away from home, so it's going to be a tough test for us, no doubt about that. And I think they're going to field a strong side as well. It's going to be silverware, potential silverware for them if they do. Saying that, we've got to go there believing. We've been to places like Chelsea, we've been to Liverpool and put performances on. We've been away and performed Birmingham. When Ryan Lawsey scored in injury time or extra time. So we can go and cause a shock. The FA Cup's got a lot of beauty about it, hasn't it? There's always going to be shocks in the FA Cup. Why not us? But I just don't think it's going to happen.
Well, Andy, there will be a shock. Will it be double-digit goals we concede in this game? Do you reckon?
No, I don't think it'll be double digits. I think we're better than that. No, I think we're better than that. We were licking goals with Mr. Rooney because I just don't know what went wrong with our training there. We were licking goals for fun. And it's funny, when Gibson left, we didn't concede too many, did we? We've only conceded 2 since he's left. So one. Yeah, one. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Sorry, Gav. So we've got a good chance. We've got a chance, as good a chance as anyone,
Yeah, and obviously we're hopefully, like I said, with the Tomek. I'm trying to think of this name in my head now, but obviously also Badu. So I mean, Gavin, the whole. I think for us, when you're in the Championship, you get to that third round, and it's a great place to be because you could get a big name club that you draw against, or you'll get some of the low leagues, and it's almost like, oh dear, there's going to be a jinx there. But it's like, when you're in the situation that we're in, the focus clearly has to be on the league, and that's going to be an interesting one for Nance and Edwards tomorrow, because either way, they're going to be picking that lineup. So how do you think they'll approach that game tomorrow? With the situation that we're in,
it's a breath of fresh air, isn't it? It's clear the slate, pressure on getting any points. We've just about to appoint a new manager. We've got 2 very good who are going to want to prove themselves and show the world what they're about. And I think it'll just be a mind reset. Turn up with some positive attitude, stick to the game plan, see what happens. That day at Chelsea will stick in my memory for a long time because all around us, we were every 5 minutes going, we still haven't conceded. So, and they basically, I think their chance was their sort of pretty much their Premier League 11. So the FA Cup does silly things, doesn't it? And Sheffield United's game last night, I think 6,000 or 5,000 there on the ground, and they both played reserve teams.
Yeah.
It happened. So I think if we turn up, I think they'll play as strong as they can without burning people about Tuesday night as well, and showing the new manager, whoever that is, what they're about. We'll go there with some positivity, and what's the worst that can happen? But it certainly won't be a Cardiff or a.
Yeah. I just remember that League Cup match last season was at Crystal Palace. We played at home park and we were 2-0 up and we were all over them, and they had to bring on the big guns to come and beat us. But we gave them a game.
Come on,
and it's just whatever team turns up, the more determined you want. I mean, Nargal wants silverware as well. We're not going to sort of take this lightly.
No, it's that tricky with the injury crisis and stuff. It's the sort of game where Brentford could really stretch us, and cause us problems. I mean, they're going to want to go into it. They're, I think, mid-table-ish in the Premier League. They come off the back of some decent wins. So yeah, Carl, it's sort of. I'd love to see us go through. I mean, Brentford's a big club. It's a shame it's away. There's obviously a sellout crowd going away. We're not going ourselves on this one, but everybody have a safe trip tomorrow because obviously the weather is still a bit dodgy in places. But yeah, it's let's hope we do put on a show and we don't have an embarrassing situation, eh?
Yeah, we just got to try and keep it respectful. I don't think we're gonna go up there and get a hammering. I would like to think we'd give them a game. I think we've shored up a bit defensively, and I think that's why they need to announce the manager before the game, give us a bit of positive thinking behind it as well, and
vibes.
And I don't think they're going to play a fully strength 11. There's just no way with the Premier League games coming up. But even their second string is going to be really, really of high quality. So as long as we keep it respectful, put in a good performance, and anything can happen. If we can nick a goal and take it into the latter stages of the game, I believe it goes straight to pens, doesn't it now?
Yeah,
not replays, is it?
Is that what?
Extra time and then
extra time.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so ever since COVID, they changed it, didn't they? Which is a damn shame because lots of smaller clubs dream of bringing the big teams back home, don't they? So it's a shame they changed that. in the FA Cup, because that's a big part of it. But yeah, hopefully, we'll see a positive display and a positive result.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's she'll watch it through various means, but it's. I'm looking forward to it. You just hope that we can put a good sort of fight in, and we don't end up going to extra time or penalties because of just the energy that saps.
Well, I hope we do, because that means we put in a good performance. If we get to that
no,
stage.
don't get me wrong. Yeah, absolutely. But with such an important game coming up next.
And don't forget,
in terms of league game,
I think we'll give us our second string more of a Houghton. I expect will play tomorrow. I don't know if we go with Hazard or Grimshaw, but we'll see some fringe players start ourselves anyway. So
it was interesting that
Houghton
was
as long as he's unstart
Houghton was right. Yeah, it was Houghton did the internal club preview. So he was there and he talked about his lack of minutes and stuff. Whether he's been already given the nod that he's going to start, which he needs to kickstart his season again, or probably go, doesn't he?
Yeah. Was there any other sort of sound bites out of those interviews?
Just a bit about Sissoko, giving him some more minutes. Hopefully, Beidou should see some game time, whether that's from the start, off the bench. That was pretty much it, to be honest. Yeah.
Thing about our new signings is they're not cup tied, are they?
No, that's true.
Yeah, that's it. It's the beauty of it. Yeah, they're going to know nothing about them. Come on, do you need to do it?
No. So a question from G Plim G. Guys, get your questions in the chat as you would do, on these with whatever platform you're on. Put them in the comments, and it will feed through to here. So, do you think Mumba will be pushed further forward with a new left back coming in?
I think he'll be moved to right back, won't he?
Yeah,
back to his natural position, his favoured position.
And then Tomek in at left back. I think that'd be the way to go.
Yeah, it almost covers then the situation with Edwards, isn't it? And where he's been missing in obviously the squad since his injury, so we could now have a fairly strong back four again if he turns up.
Shout out to Sorry, though I thought he's put his body on the line. I know he's not the most talented player in the division. I get all that, but he showed the fight that we needed in the last 3 months that we've never had. So I don't think it's a straight out onto the bench and bring Mumba in. I know there's not more quality, but I thought he's done enough to really.
Yeah, sorry, Marcus, I forgot you. I didn't even check that you were still in the lobby.
Lovely boy.
He put a comment in the private chat, and I suddenly thought, "Oh, he's back in now." So, Marcus said exactly that. Can you drop Sorinola? Can you drop Sorinola for Mumba?
Don't think you can.
No,
it's a tricky one. That
he's done well. Sorinola.
I've seen a lot more passion than Mumba. If Mumba put a transfer in, sometimes your heart's not in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to echo Gavin's point, absolutely. We said it on Sunday's pod. I retweeted a tweet that I put out end of November. About Pleggy and Sorinola. And they've grasped that opportunity. To when there's injuries that come by. We all talked about how they're probably going to get moved on because they weren't going to get any game time. So it's almost like now they've just come alive, and I think there's probably the odd game where when everybody plays poor, they play poor, like those away games, but generally they've absolutely done superb. And not forgetting Sorinola was a free as well, wasn't he? So like Gibson and that, you can't all this data, and I get why people moan about it and ridicule it when it comes to the club stuff and and the Wayne Rooney situation, but you can't deny it has paid dividends for us equally. So keep persevering with it, but. Yeah, so I think for it gives competition back into the squad, doesn't it? So it's going to be people really needing to fight for places. That's for sure. Sissoko, as I think Carl you mentioned, picked up getting more game time. He definitely needs to get those minutes under his belt so he can get back in the flow. But Andy, Sissoko is that player that everybody seems sort of rely on as being the game changer for Argyle, which he's an exciting player, absolutely. So hopefully he can, and he will want to create a bit of a show on the stage tomorrow, won't he?
Definitely, yeah. And he's one of those flair players that you've got. And this is a sort of player that Al Haj will thrive on, because Al Haj has got that as well. He's got that skill set about him. And if you've got creative players around Al Haj, like Sissoko, then you're going to get a lot more out of him, I think,
Well, that's what we're starting to see, isn't it, Marcus? Is, Al Haj is coming into the games where we do, play that more creatively. Even against Stoke, to be fair, he did all right. He's not going to play like he can do, because we didn't really have any attacking chances. We parked the bus, but sort of to see what those two can do to link up properly together is going to be exciting.
But the thing is, with like Al Haj, he did come from like Danish football, so it does take time. I think people thought he was going to do what he'd done in Denmark, and that'd be it. But it does take time. Same with Beidou. You can't expect miracles straight away.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's we said this weeks ago, throughout the whole Rooney situation and the injuries, and we, like a few others, gave him a bit of leniency with that, and but it's sort of, you knew that when these players come back from being fit, Whittaker came back in a bit earlier, obviously, of course, Hardy the same, and has now pulled his shoulder, a totally different injury. You've got to just be patient with the fact that they've also got to get back into the swing of the game. And that doesn't happen overnight. So, it's a shame for Hardy, that injury now, because he fought back with the knee, with the stitches, but now he's out again for another few more weeks. So, but yeah, I think I did see on Nance, so some of the clips and of the comments that Argyle posted, Gavin, that Beidou has impressed Nance with what he's seen so far in training, I believe.
If you look at his highlight reel, the guy's the real deal, in my opinion, and I know that the club were devastated on the day that you were stood in the car park waiting for him to arrive. I vividly remember. He's quick. Yeah, I think the fact that you buy a player and you can say you can play all right wing shows his testament of his quality, quite frankly. Exciting. I think he'll be quick, and I think he'll score goals and he'll tear it up. Be interesting, and El Hadj can play together in the 10 role, because one's a bit more tricky and finds a space. The other's a bit more direct. I worry, and I think I text you in the week, is like where does Sissoko play if you're going to play two because there's no width in the side. But that's, I suppose, a conversation for another day. But I think Beidou will take him probably 2 or 3 weeks to get into the. Bearing in mind he hasn't played yet; it's their close season, isn't it? So he's still but he'll hit the ground running. He seems like a consummate pro, and say everything that the coaching staff have said.
Yeah, and Carl, sort of your thoughts on Beidou. It's we've been waiting patiently for ages. Let's hope he can get a chance to again on the stage tomorrow. There's a chance to make a name for yourself for any player, in the FA Cup third round. So excited to see him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were all excited in the summer to hopefully try and get it over the line, because he looks a decent prospect, doesn't he? He's young, energetic, eye for goal, and just clearly something that we've been lacking up front. So I think that's the way he'll play. I think he'll play as a false 9, Sissoko on the left, Whittaker on the right. So I think that's our front three. Al-Hadj just behind. So I think that sounds really tasty and looks really tasty, those 4 kind of up front. So yeah, it's going to take him up to get up to speed, because he hasn't played since early December. So, but I'm sure he's kept himself fit in the close season over there, and he'll be willing to take his chance.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, let's just hope for the game tomorrow that we do get that excitement and we get to enjoy it in some way. And like we said, we walk away holding our heads held high. I'm just going to bring up now. This might be a bit too see on the screen, but I'll try and bring it up. What's the best view for that? So let me just see if I can zoom in. So we've got Hallett's obviously statement that came out. We know that everybody's been waiting on this. We said it in our pod the other day, our live session, that I think there's a lot. I get everybody has views and opinions, and it is what it is. But I think some of the sort of slander directed at Simon Hallett, is not being called for. It's a difficult situation. He's a fan, as I've always said. He's a massive Argyle fan. He's in the fortunate position that we would all absolutely love to be in, to be able to buy into your own football club. He's got that. The 5-year plan originally, we achieved it in a few years. We then obviously boosted again. It's all sort of a sudden surge of success, which is fantastic. But when you're building the club to be stable in that progression, situations like getting yourself unbalanced by the Schumacher, when he left, and will he come back still? Who knows? We still don't know yet. So it's all the disruption, the Foster at the time, the appointment through the January transfer window is never good. That clearly didn't work out. And then obviously the big gamble with Rooney. And as I've seen pointed out, there is a bit of a contradiction on a section within this statement. But all in all, you just can't. The guy, Mr. Hallett, has definitely got the club infrastructure. I know some people don't like that word, but he's built the stability of the business of the club by doing that, and that will pay dividends coming. Even if we go down, it's not going to be as bad as it was under the last tenure that we had when we were last in the Championship. Anyway, so he says, as I just moved my microphone over, I'd like to thank every member of the Green Army for their continuing extraordinary support in what has been a difficult year. Difficult because we've not had the stability we seek in football, and difficult because, as I write, we are bottom of the Sky Bet Championship without a head coach. Along with the obvious low points, there have been many memorable highlights. I won't forget the Friday night match under the lights from Mustafa Bundu goal, a battling defensive display against Leicester City. We can all remember that one. And also, of course, Joe Edwards' famous goal against Hull that confirmed our place in the Championship. So even in the current season, we've had some fantastic drama at home park with wins against Sunderland, Luton Town and Blackburn Rovers. And for all Wayne Rooney's faults, those will definitely be memorable games, that's for sure. Despite or perhaps because of the turmoil and the danger, 23-24 was a memorable season, reminding us what a wonderful division the Championship is at the pinnacle of the English Football League. And I think, in fairness, we've said this many a time, probably one of the best leagues, if not the best league in Europe. So make no mistake, he said, we want to stay in it, and everyone at the club is focused on doing so. Now, just on that point alone, I'll stop there. There's no doubt whatsoever that they are not trying to do everything they can to make the right decisions and ensure the club stays in this league. I know the yo-yo comment has come up before, but, Carl, I'll come to you on this bit first. You can't think that anybody wants to do anything but fight to keep us in this league. But you've got to be sensible. You can't just chuck millions and millions and millions at it.
No, you can't. And we haven't got millions and millions and millions to chuck at it until this investment gets over the line. We still don't know if it's going to get completed this January or not. But I know he said he's going to put money in himself to give us the funds available anyway. So, but yeah, the statement needed to happen. I don't think it gave us much that we didn't already know. I wish he went into kind of the Rooney, the hiring a bit more, and maybe not apologise, but go kind of explain their reasoning, kind of hiring him and why they gave him that long. And we all wanted it to work, didn't we? When he was hired, we all a bit shocked at his appointment, and we all wanted it to work, and we wanted to back him. And those early games suggested that we had some good performances, picked up some good results. Whether the injuries did derail us, I don't know. Whether we still had Edwards and Sissoko on the pitch, they would have given us a bit more fight and a bit more points on the board. Who knows? But I keep going back to that Simon Jordan interview where I don't like the bloke, but he was bang on in his questioning to Simon Hallett, and just a few days ago, the interview on TalkSport as well. What was the reasoning? And he says it wasn't about PR, and then on the other hand, the talk about the Netflix documentary, and all that's been cancelled. So
that's the point. Yeah,
this is
the point,
kind of the grey area where we want the answers on. year we didn't kind of get that, did we? So, and the whole Dewsnip thing as well, still no announcement, which makes me believe, is he still going to be there? I don't know.
I mean, Gavin, you sort of deal with businesses as a consultant. We had a good chat about what you do as well, so you didn't just have to listen to everything that I've done in my career. Not that much. So yeah, look, yes, we know this statement was late. We both said that when we were chatting the other day, didn't we? I felt also that actually he should have put out a video. I think video messages are equally very powerful. It's good for the fans to see the chairman does actually exist. Of course he does. But yeah, how do you sort of read all that situation from last year?
2 weeks too late, the statement. I think they should have put something out probably the weekend away. I'm not saying that game, but certainly probably just after the Bristol City game, I would assume. In terms of the investment piece, the challenge is going to, the capital value of the business is predicated on what league they sit in, because a rebel clubs are valued. So the challenge now is, if you're going to put your hard-earned cash in new shares, that's what it'll be probably. So they won't buy them from Simon. They'll create new shares and dilute everyone down. A business that's potentially worth, let's say, 40 million quid, and then if on the 1st of May, so you've basically doubly paid for the shares that you're about to buy. So Simon rightly has put his hand in his pocket now, along with the American Green survivors. My gut feel is that this investment won't get over the line until they know what division they're going to be. Go on a run now and be comfortable with 5 games to go. But my suggestion would be, my guess is it's going to be. I think it'll happen, but I think it'll happen once they know where they're going to be next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, the whole investment piece, he does mention it in there. I mean, I'll read on to a couple more sections, and then Andy, come to you for your views on these next bits. But, as he said, I think we've, although we have not yet completed the transaction with the new investor, I, together with the partners at minority shareholder Argyle Green, will provide the funds to give us the greatest possible chance to improve the squad during the January transfer window. I think we have already shown with the commitment by breaking our transfer record again and signing Michael Baidoo. We hope to be able to give you more good news in the coming weeks. And of course, the killer one, we also hope to be able to announce our new head coach in the very near future. So yeah, Andy, look, the investor thing is going to drive people crazy when they don't hear things. I've said it on Sunday. The club don't have to give you an update every week because Bob on Twitter says I want an update. But yeah, look, if it comes, it comes. I think Gavin's right, Andy, in the sense of that you wouldn't go and stick all your money in now when the club's worth this, then we get relegated and then your shares are worth that. No sensible investor would really do that right now, would they?
No, it's a massive risk, isn't it? We've got to try to consolidate ourselves in this league. To be fair, that's going to be the key of everything. We've got to be able to stay up in this league. If we go down, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get an investor. And saying that, people will invest in British clubs. We've seen that with Wrexham, haven't we? Way down. So who's to say that they wouldn't invest in us, even if we did go down? But yeah, it would hurt the sort of share sort of side of it, guaranteed. But he's got money there. He's got money. We bought Baidoo in for a record fee. We've got more signings on the way, I hope.
The cash on the balance sheet, Andy, the cash on the balance sheet at the end of last season was just under 10 million, or just over 10 million. We didn't spend all of our transfer budget in the summer. No, we didn't. And they're offering, don't forget, 1.5 million for Gibson. We spent
Cooper
on Grimshaw, but not all of it. So I reckon there's probably 5 to 6 million quid for this, with new funds and existing budget still remaining.
Well, yeah, and we forget to talk about the Sky money, 14 million from Sky. So adding to that, you're looking at about 20 million, maybe.
That doesn't come in, I don't think, until the beginning of next year. It's paid in arrears, not in advance. Yeah, all of those.
Okay, right.
Those funds will be realised in our accounts from 1st of June. So, which which not saying you can't lend the company money now. Forward spend that, but yeah, that's where that would sit. But there was still plenty of cash. I know there was the Folkestone Park piece, which is right, I think, rightly so. But there's still
on the
money
other
there.
side of that as well, though, Gav, is that Stoke are chucking money at everything like that. You know, you look at Stoke's owners, firing managers.
A lot of clubs now are going to try and buy us. We can do about it, and we can't do that. But if you look back 12 months, 24 months ago, and said we'd have 5 million in a January window, I think I'd have been dragged out of here, with a straitjacket on. So I think I've ever been, and I think for me, the quality of the two that have come in is last January much.
Yeah. So it's a risk we're going to take, and if we get the right sort of player in, and it looks like we're doing that with what's he called, Carl?
Pukac.
Him as well, yeah. So with Pukac, and any other signings that we make, we're going in the right direction. We're bringing in players. I mean, he looks solid, this guy. Who's to say we're not going to get another 2 or 3 players like that?
Well, I think Andy as well on that point. I think there was a lot of fans nervous. We sort of said it would, touched upon it, earlier. Would we sign anybody if we're going to be about to appoint a manager, and that's always tricky. And you've got the club has to protect itself. If there's an option and players that they've been watching and they can take those chances, you've almost got to, because if we don't, say if Miron Muslic does fall through, Schumacher had fallen through or whatever, and they then have to go back to the interview list and conduct more, and it extends it a week or two. You just can't not then take these players, because they will be stolen from underneath you else, won't they?
Yeah, and by all accounts, there's been sniffed around by Stoke and Hull as well, and a couple of other clubs in the Championship, and we managed to get him here. So why would he want to come here? That's the question. Why would he want to go to someone who higher up the league, Stoke, or
Did you see his interview? His welcome interview? He basically asked why Argyle, and he said, because you wanted me, you sought me out, and I felt need to feel needed, which I thought was a real
absolutely
to Jimmy D and the recruitment team, that they've managed to give him that feeling.
That's important as well, Gav, isn't it? Because we did the same with Whittaker, didn't we? It was exactly the same with Whittaker. He felt wanted. That's why he's at his happy
that's why
place.
He's still here.
This is his happy place.
Absolutely. And you'd have to imagine Bader as well, because it would be knocking on his door despite us not having a manager. So
Bader could have a pack of any club he wants, but he wanted to come to us,
Well, hey, look, we'll wait and see what he turns out to be like first, because obviously we have this habit, because of the who we are, and we don't have the budget that every player we sign that's worth £1.50 or more, we seem to think is going to be the best player in the league. So, but touch wood, like we said, we've been lucky with Mumba, we've been lucky with smart, with the signings of like Mumba and Whittaker, and and they've proven to be good. And it goes back to my point, and I said this, I thought it would be a little bit that way when Rooney signed, is sometimes the right player at the right club does work, and that's where, if you're spoilt for team selection, it's going to make it difficult, isn't it? Because if you've got players that are always getting in there first, and especially if they're 10-15 million pound players, and you're a 2-3 million pound player, and you're like trying to get in, I mean, all right, you're getting a decent pay packet, but I mean, that's got to be so frustrating, just not even on the bench in some cases. Just picking up the rest of the statement, we have moved quickly to identify head coaches with a track record of playing the kind of football that we want to see at Home Park, and a track record of improving the teams they inherit, which is where Miron Muslic comes.
Stop there, Mike, because obviously Muslic, how he plays, isn't what Simon Hallett's saying in that statement, because I wouldn't say Muslic is kind of long ball, but a lot of his play is direct. So that again contradicts what he said in that statement as well. So we're going for a different play, unless he's going to embrace our way of playing and changes his ways. I don't know, but time will tell. So, well,
the other thing to this statement, and why I said I felt a video would have been better for it, is, and I mean this with the greatest respect to Simon, but it sounds like Parkinson has pulled this together, send it over to him on email to check a few bits that are said in it, and it was probably done a week ago, and then they've decided to put it out this week. I don't know that.
Maybe he's just done it on ChatGPT, Mike.
We all know that, Gavin. a big user
To
of
the remit.
ChatGPT now. So, but yeah, it does feel a little bit like that. So the timing of writing it versus what you're after, and if this Miron Muslic came out of nowhere,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
suddenly, a bit like Foster,
Yeah.
but so there is those sudden changes, because what we don't know is, does Schumacher want to come back? You know, do we want Schumacher? We've all heard of the rumours there. We'll pick up on that a bit more in a minute. But yeah, it is. They may well be scraping the bottom of a barrel in some cases in the nicest way. Having the resources, obviously, to buy the best players doesn't guarantee success, he said, but it certainly helps. And many coaches have benefited from clubs with much larger revenue bases than ours, or from shareholders willing to risk financial losses and consequent financial instability. And he highlights this. I think when the forum happened, I pulled up a stat on the sort of P&L of all the championship clubs, and it is frightening. Unless you've got owners like the Coats at Bet365, who literally could just do whatever with their money, regardless. We're not like, and I think they lose a staggering amount of
20
money
million.
each week.
20 million a year.
20 million a year, yeah. So still a lot of money each week equally. So, because they've got it. I think Denise Coates is paying herself just under £1 billion again, in a last set of results. So it's all right if you can get it. So yes, so he goes on to say this very much. As you all know, we have taken a different approach. We seek financial. Oh, sorry, the paragraph I missed. That is very much the case in the Championship, where the average losses are 25 million a year. And where a minimum of 3 clubs every year benefit from enormous parachute payments that follow relegation from the Premier League. That is just, you can't compete with that. But you can only do what you can do. And I think culture, and I think the bond of the squad. Argyle have benefited from those type of things over the years when we've had success, and it does get a little bit sort of turned on its head when a few changes go on, for sure. As you all know, we have taken a different approach. We are seeking financial stability while generating enough revenues to fund a competitive first team coach. If we spend our money wisely and make good decisions as often as possible, like all other football clubs, we get money from ticket sales, the Argyle Superstore. I saw a nice hat in there. Actually, I bought a nice hat. Or the wife and the kids did for me on the weekend. While generating enough revenues to fund a competitive first team squad. I've done that bit. Sorry, I'm losing my track now. We get money from ticket sales, Argyle Superstore, sponsorship, media, and net player sales. We all get the same media money, and we have one of the smallest stadiums in the division. Fill in the corners, I hear you all cry. So we must compete by generating revenue in other areas. Let me just scroll that up. So he then sort of pits a note. That's why I think Parkinson wrote this. He pits a positive note on Parkinson. And this is the infrastructure bit where you have to say they have done a very good job. But yeah, so under Andrew Parkinson's leadership, we have expanded and diversified, and our revenue base by improving what we have offered fans, attractive and winning, until last year, as he puts in quotes, football in a clean and safe stadium. We have successfully increased revenues from ticket sales, from sales in the stadium and in our shop, from hospitality on match days, of which Gavin is one of those, and non-match days, and from any ways we can find to use the stadium, obviously the concert and all that jazz. And in last year alone, we began the fan zone. I've not experienced it here, and I know, Carl, you've been to it, and a few of you on here, I'm sure, absolutely have. And it's great. When we went to Bristol City, Gavin and I, we had some food there and stuff. It's a great little thing that clubs have done there. Stokes one was about 2 vans, and that was about it. To be honest, there was no fan zone. So all these things do bring money in. So we spend money to make money. The old saying, that is, on the first team squad, and all spending and investment must have a business case associated with it. It needs to generate a return. And I think that's where, sort of, Gavin, people do struggle, don't they? In terms of, just chuck money at it. We've got to be able to compete, stick a few million quid on a player. And I always say, if it was your money, you wouldn't do that.
Unless you're, Ms. Coates, who's got £1 billion a year revenue, is fine. Simon's net worth is about 65 million, I think. He's a potential. He's very wealthy, but in football terms, he's a potential pauper. And he's done very good. How the hell did he get that? Oh, it's the other one. He's done a very good job, I think, of balancing.
You're on the computer.
Bless the kids. If it's not Sophie at the start, it will be Sophia.
If it's not Sophie, it's Sophia.
Desmond makes an appearance.
Oh dear. So you don't get this on Argo Life, do you?
No, exactly.
This is what makes it so unique, isn't it?
Yeah,
so go on, Gavin. No. Finish off if you can.
So look, you got to spend your money wisely. We made this. They were minuscule compared to other clubs. We get
head is in view.
We've managed to absorb that by having we've not gone into financial difficulty. We've not borrowed. We still haven't got any debt either. That's another thing that needs to be really taken into consideration. Still, which is very unusual.
Yeah, let me just mute Carl for a second. Hang on. Yeah. Have you sorted yourself now, Carl?
Yeah.
So we had the duck on your head, and then we had Marcus's head at the bottom of your screen. So all quality productions here.
Yeah,
brilliant. Block 9 podcast. So and thank you. We still got a large audience. So just before I carry on, really appreciate that. I don't know if my camera will pick up my. It's not doing it. So we got. I'm using a Mac, so you get effects coming through as you do certain things, but it didn't work, so that was a fail. Anyway, so we'll move on. Get your comments in as well, guys. So let us know, what you think. I know everybody's been quite vocal on the whole running of the club this year, and also more importantly, the lack of transparency, which is why. For me, if I was advising Simon Hallett, I would have got a video done to go out alongside this. But at least we got something. Anyway, so just to finish off, so we have got the return will be available for investment in the first team squad, whether it will be the obvious fees and wages, but also anything that gives a greater chance to win. For example, better travel options, training facilities, sports science. I think that's the old adage, isn't it? Is our travel, our facilities, and all that sort of stuff. They're not going to be up there. We've developed, the brick fields. We've obviously developed Harper's Park, and these things will come. I mean, Christ, when Derek Adams joined, it was the training pitch was something to be less desired. That's for sure. So it's all going to take time and money.
We need the club to buy the airport back, get the airport up and running again. That would bring a bit more to...
Well, my son would personally appreciate that because he wants me to drag him up there every weekend. And it's like there's nothing going on.
Yeah, it's not my kids, that's my wife this time.
Was it?
Yeah. So this year the squad will cost us over 14 million, even before we allow for spending in this transfer window. Just a few days ago, our squad cost 2.5 million, and that is a significant difference. They're all on big money in these leagues, which you have to just cater for. We always have a choice. We spend £1 today, and it's gone, or it can invest. If so, the returns can be spent for many years, and that's the point really that I'm making. And we've made tonight is that it's all about putting the club in a good position down the line, because if we do go down, we can weather that storm a bit. Whereas if you just be a bit more loose, you could say bye club, and that no one is safe from that these days in this current climate. At times like today, of course, a fine balance between the present and the future swings in favour of short-term demands. Hence, our beginning to spend in the transfer window. I've lost my place now. There we go. We have begun a programme of being more active in player trading, investing in players such as Bali Mumba, Morgan Whittaker, Rami Al-Haj, and now Beidou, and now Tomechi Panachu. I'll leave that one to Carl.
Sounded more like Pikachu.
And obviously he mentions the investment in Folston Park, obviously that I alluded to, for the academy, and we're seeing the fruits of the Marcus actually on that point, because you like to bring this up on our pods. The academy has got some great talent coming through. They had a massive win, after going 2-0 up, being pegged back 2-2, winning in the penalty shootout against was it Luton? I've forgotten off the top of my head.
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Oh, Lincoln, thank you. And it began with an L. And obviously we've seen the likes of Tegan Finn, the likes of Caleb Roberts, the likes of why has he left my head? But anyway, you're an advocate. Thank you. You're an advocate of the youth players. So that academy investment is showing is proving itself, isn't it?
And also, I rate that Dan Holman, the goalkeeper, and he is a big goalkeeper.
Yeah, 6'5".
So, but
Yeah, he's a big lad, isn't he?
the thing is, though, I've always said this: to get that link, the trouble we've had with Isaka, we should have an under-21s to bridge that gap.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I would consider.
As soon as the Folsom Park's available, we'll go to a Cat B academy, which means we can then have 120. Got good enough facilities, and we're in the Matic. We can't enter the clubs in those leagues. So this is been having that stopgap between 18s and the first team because there's no reserves. They need experience or 23, whichever.
Yeah, because also I reckon we should, if we can get some players in, loan out Isaka and Caleb Roberts.
Yeah.
To like a League One side.
Even League Two, I think it would still be a big jump for them.
None of this Taunton or Tiverton rubbish,
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to go to decent other League One side or a top, League Two side.
Exactly. I mean,
I think my son trying to shoot me now. Look,
I think now, when this January came, I think Will Jenkins Davis should have been moved up to another level.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't seem to react quick enough to do things like that.
Yeah.
You can tell he's above. You can tell he's above the level of Torquay. They should have put him in like a League Two side.
Yeah.
We're a bit of a sleepy club then, aren't we? We seem to do things at, Jana pace, don't we? So very slowly.
I mean,
I suppose got to get it right.
It is allowed to loan players outside Devon. I just don't think we realise that.
Well, I think what's interesting there is if he brings some coaching team with him, it will free Nance up to go and actually have those conversations with those lower leagues. Feel like we've got enough resource. If you look at the way in the past we have relationships and clubs like that where we went up and we got Cundall and we got Kane Kessler Hayden dealt with their head of academy and their loan manager. That's part of his role.
Yeah.
But he's always too busy on the grass. So because we haven't got a big enough squad. So I think if you've got to force that to happen more often, and then you will be going to sort of some of those top end League Two and bottom end League One the right run.
Yeah.
No, hang on, Ben. Yeah, sorry, I got my son in here now. Just as I unmute the microphone and starts to talk. Yeah, look, I think the whole side on that, I think is exciting to come. And if we can keep ourselves established in this league, with the funds that come from that, it's gonna help. I picked up a few seconds ago, Sarah Mason Palmer. Good evening, Sarah. Comment there.
Mason.
For me, Hallett is happy to get the praise when we do well. However, when we do poorly, he's nowhere to be seen or heard. I think that's probably a fair comment, and it's one of those where I think for Hallett, as I said earlier, being a fan and all that jazz, to have success like he has, it must be a great feeling because everybody wants to shake your hand, everybody wants a photo with you, everybody wants to buy you a pint, and all that sort of stuff. And it is hard. The last 12 months, as sort of he pits in his statement, it will be hurting him inside because he's trying to deal with this situation. Notwithstanding, he is, am I right in saying he's non-executive chairman, or in the sense of he only has the board once a month. He's not involved with the club day to day. He's not an active chairman, I should say, in that sense. So he leaves the club running to Parkinson, then Dewsnip, and obviously a few other people at the club. And so, he's got other stuff that he's doing, so he's equally hurting inside, but they definitely do need to, on the communications front, I think, just try and get involved a bit more. Sorry, kids do my head in now. So yeah, look, I get the point, and I can understand why people have people feel that way. Right, just to finish off this, God, the statement goes on, so I'll spin through it. So we do not need vanity projects. People might argue the Argyle Breakfast Show on Saturday is one, but I like that sort of thing. Of course I do, because, you know, I do a lot of video content and we're here tonight. And we're close to that 2,000 mark as well. So appreciate everybody that's in tonight. And share it where you can. And don't forget to follow us on X and our YouTube channels personally and through the Block 9. We gain respect. We are now embarked on winning support. More supporters means more revenue, which means more funds available for the first team squad. We will be announcing various programs to further grow our supporter base in coming months, including to raise our profile in the United States, which is a probably big indicator to where that investment is coming from. You know, so that's good. This is where the contradiction sort of piece came through that Carl alluded to. Raising our profile was not one of the considerations in hiring Wayne Rooney. But we thought that we would be able to help us win football matches during Wayne's tenure as head coach. We saw glimpses of what was possible, but clearly both results and underlying performances were slow, were showing few signs of being at the level we need. He goes on to thank Wayne for obviously his time at the club, his approachable nature, which absolutely was the case. Down-to-earth personality made him popular figure with the fans. Moving on, obviously the documentary was cancelled. That's the contradicting bit, you know, because obviously they looked at that to raise the club's profile. So, and that sort of thing can only come with Wayne Rooney. He also thanked Simon Ireland for the work that he's done in his brief time. Obviously, he came in after Foster was appointed. And yes, Ben's trying to stick his head up on my screen in the corner. I've always been clear that I could commit enough to enable us to get to the Championship. And this is important, really, because that success so quickly, you know, is not something that he would have ever have accounted for financially. And personally, he's not going to go and risk his, you know, himself on chucking money at it all. Leaving himself with nothing in his pocket. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think as I scroll down to the sort of the final bits, turning back to the investment in the first team squad spending, we have many opportunities to expand Argyle's revenue bases and facilities, to raise the ceiling above what we can achieve, and finally raise the potential we all often talk about. So, you know, a few things at the bottom. Apologies for being so opaque, to sort of note Sarah Mason Palmer's point, you know, but we are simply not allowed to reveal the party concerned. As I said, until any deal was finalised, shareholders will provide those funds. So, you know, he goes on to thank the support, you know, that we've had, and the away fans. It has been incredible, you know, the costs and the money travelling away. So, you know, look, we've got a statement.
Did he thank Neil Dewsnip at the end there, Mike? I might have missed that.
Let me GPT. Can you sense anything about Dewsnip in here? I think it's pretty obvious with the Dewsnip situation, with Jimmy Dickinson coming out and giving the comment about Beidou at the time. I don't know if I've got it here, actually, or I've got a comment. I think it's from Nance, though. Where's my mouse gone? On that sign-in. Oh, where is it to? Let me push us over to the right. No, Jimmy Dickinson again. On the new left back. He is naturally left-footed, good on the ball, and consistently provides assists, so will provide good balance to the left side of defence. So again, that's from Jimmy Dickinson, not Dewsnip. Dewsnip is probably on gardening leave. Here's a question, actually, and Carl, I'll come to you on this one. Without Dewsnip being there, let's just say he's not involved in the manager appointment, because why would he be? Who else is involved in advising them? I'll get this all from a couple of you. Who else is going to be involved in advising them on the manager to choose for the appointment?
I have no idea on that one, mate. If Dewsnip's not there, then
It'll be Jimmy.
Yeah, that begs the question. I don't know.
They'll get data from the data team. I'd be
correct.
Sitting in the meetings, probably not contributing, but maybe having feedback. And I think there, because he was looking at body language and stuff, I believe, from the last set of interviews. So I think there'll be a small panel. At the end of the day, it's going to be Simon and Andy Parkinson make the decision, looking at what I'm seeing on Twitter. So, but they need I think they need a football. Trevor Easter's gone. There isn't really a football guy on the board.
Yeah, That's the thing, isn't it? So it's whether or not he's advising in the background to a degree, I'd be amazed. But it does. It could be why, Gavin, that they're taking a bit of extra time in not rushing the decision.
Can I just butt in? I've just been sent a screenshot. Apparently, Myron Muslich is following Argyle on Instagram.
Who is?
Well, that's it. That's as good as a signature card.
Done deal, isn't it?
Carl.
Done deal.
That's as good as a wicker.
Yeah. Now, can we confirm that it is his account and not a spoof account, Carl?
Unless it's made by Andy, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not there. I'm not there either.
I've been here. My hands are tied.
Oh God, fun and games. So look, I'm going to wrap it up in a second because we've been going for just over an hour and 10. And it's been a good chat. Look, we're not able to break any news tonight.
We just said he's following us on Instagram. That's breaking news.
Well,
is he following the Block Night podcast on Instagram?
I'm almost done with social media in this manner.
Just one question, really.
Sorry, go on, Marcus.
Do you reckon it's Hudson going to be a new director of football?
Mm-hmm. Don't know.
If it's going to be something to do with American investors,
he seemed to have popped up from nowhere, didn't he?
Have him in place.
Of course, a bit like several people's names. It only takes someone to start stirring the pot. So look,
what? Trying to
say again.
No, exactly.
Absolutely. So look, I think what we'll do is we will cut it there. I think it's, let's look forward to tomorrow at least. The whole manager and Twitter thing is going to drive us all on social media mad forever and a day. Let's try and see if we can put in a performance tomorrow, get behind the lads and the old typical saying and Edwards and Nance while they lead the boys out there, and try and get something from that game. Some good points put across, we'll hopefully, be able to come back on, potentially Sunday evening where it's a normal time for doing the game. As you can see, my son's taking the mickey out of me in the background. So, go on, Gav.
Mike, I've just gone because I'm a big thing on there with my 53 followers, whatever I've got. Follow 75 people. One of them is Argyle.
Oh, what was that last bit? I didn't get the feed.
Another person he followed, Atkinson. Wonder how he's met him.
Who?
Sorry. So he's following Jimmy Dickinson and Argyle.
Right.
And also Fabrizio Romano. Who broke the story. Yeah. It's club officers and people who he's been in contact with. He's following, so I would imagine that inclusive without seeing a wet signature.
So that's it's not too difficult to make up an account and assume that it's that person.
No, this is him.
Yes,
this
okay,
is definitely
Ben.
Him.
Yes,
his account.
Yeah,
right, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll be here, Marcus. Love. Yeah.
Well, can you quickly check out Schumacher's account and just see if he's tweeting anything at the moment? So, but hey, look. On that note, we shall call it a night. I've got to go and sort Ben out before he starts annoying me anymore. Bless him. Yeah, exactly. So look, everybody, really, really appreciate you joining us again tonight. It's always, we do really appreciate it because it's a lot to get sort of ready for, a lot to get everybody's time together when you've got kids that you've got to sort out. Certainly, myself, Gavin, and Carl have a couple of young kids to deal with. But yeah, look, let's see what happens over the weekend. Join us again on Sunday where, we might have a positive result from the game and also from the management perspective. Gavin, really appreciate you coming on for your first live tonight.
Nice to see you on, Gav.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good to see you, Gav.
And
thanks for your warm welcome.
Yeah, and I will be with Gavin on the Tuesday game against Oxford, and let's not forget that is a massive game on Tuesday and is more important than anything else. So to see us not have that gap grow anymore. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks. Carl, Marcus, Andy, thank you very much again. And don't forget, like I said, to give us a follow. You'll find me at The Crazy Pilgrim on all the relevant channels, Block 9 Podcast on YouTube, X and Facebook. You got Andy, Carl and all that as well. So come on and follow us. We'll all appreciate that. And look, have a